Hello and welcome again to Steps to Maths. In this series of videos we're looking at creating content for the website or for your students in your particular book that you're using. Over the last couple of videos we've looked at how to create a book, how to name a book, how to transfer content from the master files into your own book, and in the last video we had a look at how to create help information for your students in your book. So here's the book again that we've been using. I'm still using the same user that I created in an earlier video and the same book that we created in an earlier video. In order to add content, we go and we read the book, and from that point, if you're logged in, we are logged in, we can add content. So let's have a look. We recently added equations introduction to this. This is the information that we added into it. We used the LaTeX editor to enter in some nice mathematical formatted content. And now we're going to add or edit questions for this topic, and in the next video we're going to look at adding or changing editors for this topic and why we might want to do that in your own topic. So let's look at adding or editing questions for this topic. Click on the button here and that'll bring us to that section. When you're brought to that section, because we haven't created any questions in this category yet, it complains that there's no category name found, and we simply create a new questions category for this help information. There you go, the help information. It says the new category successfully created. And let's take a few steps back, and actually we can just close that window. We go back to this again, and now we're going to add or edit questions for this topic. And because we now have a questions folder for this, we can now enter questions in. There are another options that you can use to enter questions into your help file. You can add individual files, you can edit the existing questions, and you can enter blocks of questions into an existing category. So first of all, we're going to have a look at adding a new question. So first of all, you have to decide what type of answer you want the question to be. The automatic correction of questions for students using the exercises rather than the worksheets means that questions can be in a variety of different categories. There's a list of different varieties of categories that are available here, and if you look at the help file underneath it, that'll explain what those different categories are and how to enter questions of that type into a document. So we're looking at equations at the moment, so we're probably going to be looking at getting some kind of an algebraic phrase, or maybe just actually an integer result. We're looking to solve an equation perhaps in this question. So let's look at solving a particular equation. And we're going to add our question here. So far there's no questions. So let's have a look. Again, we've got the what you see is what you get editor, and you can enter your question here exactly the same way. You can create any type of question exactly the same way as you created help content for the help page. And again, when you're entering content here, it's useful to look at the source, copy the source to a text editor, and making sure that you don't lose this information should your connection be disconnected. Okay, in this particular question we're going to have a look at providing the question both in algebraic format and in an English format. One of the things we're trying to achieve at the moment with the Steps to Maths is, or rather with the project Maths, is a better understanding of how the maths relates to the English that we're using. So we're becoming more wordy in our questions. So this is an example of a more wordy question which helps a student make the link from the more concrete to the more formal level. So the question here is what is A, and the answer will be 3. As well as providing the answer, we give examples of accepted answers, so the student can answer 3 or 0.3 or whatever they want, or 3.0. Examples of unacceptable answers might be 4 or 3.2. So we're just having a look at what is and isn't acceptable. The reason we do this is for particular types of questions where you'd like to confirm that the question is automatically being corrected the way you want. We add these examples of accepted answers and examples of unaccepted answers, and then we submit the question. The question checks those answers, makes sure that the ones that are supposed to be correct are marked correct, make sure the ones that are supposed to be marked incorrect will be marked incorrect, and at that point we're reasonably happy with our answer, and we're going to upload the question by pressing this button here that says upload this question. When you upload the question, you're brought back to the same page. At this point you can see that the number of questions in the category is 1. You will need to select integer again, and the question that you asked in the last section is still here, and that makes it very easy for you to add another question which is similar, requiring you only to make a few minor modifications and then go through the process again. In that way you've created a question, and you can add more questions to that. If you're good at using Excel and using HTML, you can very easily enter a block of questions into an existing category, which we'll have a look at shortly. And you can also edit existing questions, questions that you've created already. We can click on Edit Existing Questions in order to find out what our questions look like, or fix any particular problems with any of the questions that we've already created. When you click on Edit this question, you're brought to this content here. Again, there's your question, there's the question number, the category it's in, the type of question. Remember again, if you go back to the help on the previous page, you will understand what the type of questions, what these values mean. I stands for integer, meaning that the question is expecting an integer result. You can edit the question at this point, or you can delete the question. If you edit the question, it goes back to a similar editor to what you've seen before. So you can easily add, edit, and delete any question that you want, and that goes together with the help information that you have. It's associated directly with that help information, and any student going through the work can do that. So let's have a look at that. So now I've gone back to the library, I've gone back to my book, I've chosen to read my book, and I've opened the root document here as well. So I'll click on Equations Introduction, and I want to choose questions for my worksheet. I'll click on Equations Introduction, and I will click on this. And if we click on Equations Introduction, immediately we can see an example of the question. Again, there is only one question in here, so we won't really be able to use it as a worksheet. But this is just to show you that the question that you have created is directly associated with the topic that you have and the topic help that you've created. When you've created a number of questions, you will easily be able to load the worksheet as you've seen in previous videos, or provide an exercise to your student as you've seen in previous videos. So I hope it's clear that it's fairly straightforward to create content for yourself, and also to create an exercises or questions content for your students, for worksheets, and for other teachers to share with other teachers. Thank you.